Good morning, great Americans. It's another great American video from Kentucky. Well, just when you thought you've seen it all, the hits just keep on coming. Today, it's courtesy of the brand new Nazi Germany and their dislike of free speech. And as an added cherry on the cake, Margaret Brennan, a famous closet Nazi, uh, journalist at CBS News, says that free speech is what caused Hitler to come to power. Good Lord! You know, I have said in the past that the left, the Democrats and the left have gone absolutely insane. And the only people who could possibly still want to be part of the Democrat Party are absolutely insane people. I mean, you have to be insane to embrace the things that Democrats say these days and the evil, insane policies they promote. I mean, you just have to be nuts or evil or an idiot or you actually want terrible things to happen. One of those things you have to be to still be. But I am hoping that today's or yesterday or the events of yesterday and the last couple of days will sort of provide a few more dots for people to connect the dots and maybe be an eye opener to see what's really happening and tell them to finally put country ahead of party and do what Tulsi and RFK Jr. did and become a Republican. And it's amazing of all things that it should be Germany that enlightens us to the evil of the left. So, I have often, for many, many years, even Rush Limbaugh, back in the 90s and throughout he used to remind everyone every once in a while that when it comes to the left corrupting and destroying liberty and our civilization, Europe has always been somewhat ahead of the United States. We fall behind because of our history of religion and God and country and blah 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 blah, and we're free men and we and all that kind of stuff. It has taken us longer to become corrupt than Europe. So they're always ahead of us on gay marriage, and socialism, and all this stuff, the advance of globalism, and the Europe. They've always been ahead of the curve, but we always end up, sadly and unfortunately, we always seem to end up catching up with them, like a decade later. So why am I saying that? Because Germany right now is, regarding free speech or the lack thereof, they are right now where we were headed with Biden. Let us not forget, Biden colluded with media companies to squash free speech and to silence his opponents. He colluded with media companies to stop speech that they didn't like on any number of their pet projects. If you talked about the stolen 20 election, you were gone. Like Stalin rubbing out your picture off of Stalin and the communists. If they murdered one of there'd be like a group picture of like Stalin and some of the head honchos, right? And as soon as they murdered one of them, they'd rub them out of the picture, and then there'd be a new picture with someone missing. That's what they were doing too. If you said something about the stolen election, you were rubbed out of existence. If you said anything against the government line on COVID, you were rubbed out of existence. Doctors rubbed out of existence. Yes, and don't forget Biden's famous, when he was establishing the Ministry of Truth, or was it the Ministry of Information? I guess it's one of the two. Same thing. Very Nazi. So he was taking us where Germany is now. So that's the first dot that I spoke of at the top of the video that I want people to connect. What you see in Germany now, if that appalls you, and it should, then just remember that that's where Biden and the Democrats were taking us. And in case you're not up on the latest, I apologize. I should have said this at the top of the video. What's happening in Germany is they have a couple of laws. One law is if you insult somebody, it's literally a crime. If you insult somebody, hey, you lard ass, hey, you more. Maybe I should go to Germany. People stop saying I'm fat, right? um, hey, asshole, could you imagine Trump living in Germany and all the people going to prison because they're insulting him? But it's a crime in Germany to insult someone. Apparently, it's even a bigger crime in Germany to insult someone online. Now, here's an interesting fact. According to Elon Musk, and if he knows about anything, he knows about this. The X, Twitter X, has gotten more requests from Germany to release private information of X users. Why? Because Germany wants to prosecute them for speaking their mind. Can you believe the gall of these friggin' German Nazis coming to an American company and saying, give us the information. We must send these free speech people to concentration camps, right? I mean, and of course, Musk is refusing the request, because he believes in free speech. Can you imagine the nerve? Wait, we're not done yet. So that's another dot to connect right there. So anyway, so that's what's happened with Germany. Oh, and there's another thing. Another law in Germany is if it's a crime to lie, to post, to share and post lies online. This is the ultimate in fascism, and I'll tell you why. How many times have we caught government lying to us? How many times have we caught government lying, and there were individual Americans or in Germany or whatever who are out there telling the truth, shouting from the rooftop the truth. They were being called liars, but after some years go by, it turns out they were actually telling the truth, and it was the government that was lying. How many times have we seen this scenario on all sorts of various topics and subjects and so forth, right? And yet in Germany, if they say you're lying, it's a crime. Even if you're telling the truth, you can't prove it, right? Look, if the government is telling everybody something, and you know it's a lie, and you're out there telling the truth, very often the government is very powerful. They make it so you can't prove it. You can't prove it's the truth, but it's the truth. But in Germany, you go to jail. This is the mechanism of fascism. The government puts out their propaganda, and if someone tells the truth and calls it propaganda, the government says they're liars and locks them up. But that's what happens in Germany nowadays. If you are branded a liar, spreading what they call disinformation, even though it may be the truth, but if you're spreading disinformation, that's a crime, according to them. What they call disinformation, mind you. How many times did the Biden administration accuse Republicans and conservatives and conservative media of spreading disinformation, and now it turns out that we were telling the truth? The laptop, the Biden's kid's laptop, intervectum. I mean, all kinds of stuff. They said, oh, they're lying, they're conspiracy theorists. And it turns out we were true. Well, if we were in Germany, we'd all be in jail for telling the truth. Now, here's another dot I want you to connect. Now, I made a video recently about NATO and China and where our priorities should be, right? China's on the rise, man. NATO was created to hold off the Soviet Union superpower. Well, there is no more Soviet Union. And as bad as Putin is, I highly doubt he's going to invade Germany. So, so what's the point in sinking all those money into NATO when China is on the rise and all that those resources? And remember, we're a country that's 40 trillion in debt. It's not like we got resources to throw around, right? All the resources, we just need to get out of NATO. Europe is rich, they're wealthy, they're fat on wine and cheese, and they think they know it all, right? They have the nerve to insult JD Vance when he come over and told the truth. Well, fuck Europe and fuck Germany and fuck NATO. We need to take those resources and put them into the Pacific theater because that's where the true conflict is going to happen. China is well on its way to becoming the dominant superpower. And there's a couple of ways in which they're already dominant over us, right? But in other ways, not so much. But that's their goal, man. And they're in the Panama Canal. They're in Africa, man. They're literally building islands in the Pacific out of nothing and creating military bases. They're going to invade Taiwan. That's a fact. And the Pacific Rim is extremely important economically to the United States. So why am I bringing that up? Because look at what. Not only has NATO become useless and doesn't even, the reason that it was created doesn't even exist anymore, right? Right? It was created when Stalin was planning on invading Western Europe, and the only thing that could stop him was American nuclear weapons. But there is no more Stalin, there is no more Soviet Union. And again, yes, Putin's a bad guy, but he may want to gobble up some, but let them deal with that. They're rich, they're powerful, they have plenty of money. Why are we protecting them? And then why am I bringing this up? Back to Germany. And the same thing is happening in England that is happening in Germany. All of Europe is becoming fascist. Why should the hardworking American taxpayer spend money to defend the likes of that? Nazi Germany. Now we're defending it. Why should we spend a dime? What NATO, some of these people in government and like John Bolton, these fuckers are like dinosaurs. They're like robots. NATO, well, you must NATO must fund NATO. It's like they hold on to the old ways, and it's just like government. It's like when government creates a program and then it goes way past its original intended purpose and grows like a fungus and then chokes the taxpayer. But foreign policy is no different. America has a really bad habit of holding on to foreign policy and policies and just never rethinking them. The funny thing is that Democrats have this thing where they call reimagine this, that, reimagine law enforcement, reimagine. Of course, they're full of shit. But the sad thing is that if they applied that thinking to things like NATO and foreign policy and domestic policy, then it might actually be useful. Yes, let us reimagine our military alliances and force spending. Let us reimagine what alliances we should be a part of now, and we don't need to be a part of anymore. Like I said, NATO was created to stop the Soviet Union from invading Western Europe. Well, there is no more Soviet Union, so why are we there? Why are we there making trouble? They're making mischief. They wanted to stop the Soviets, but now they're encroaching on Russia. Have no doubt. These people, look, we need to stop. We need to get the fuck out of NATO, and we need to establish bilateral military agreements with those few countries in NATO who really are good people, like Poland, right? I mean, we don't want to see Russia go into Poland ever. They're great. I mean, they are great allies, unlike Germany and France and those losers, man. So and besides, when you really think about it, NATO really is. When you really think about it, we spend almost all the money on NATO. NATO is almost literally a bilateral agreement where we defend Europe. There's no equal sharing of responsibility. We spend all. So as long as we're going to be involved in something like that, we should get the fuck out of NATO, have bilateral agreements with those countries who are really cool, who are trying to do the right thing. Again, I mentioned Poland because I think Poland, they're like number one. Is amazing, isn't it? In NATO, of all countries, Poland is the one who does its best to adhere to to do the right thing. And so we should have an agreement with them and others as well. We should get out of NATO and spend all of and shift our resources to the Pacific and the real growing threat of China. We need to build missile defense, build up the Navy, and all that kind of stuff. And again, back to how this video started. Germany, Nazi Germany, on fascism on the rise in Germany and in England, free speech is dead. And why the hell should we defend that? Why the hell should we defend that? And as I said, what you see there is exactly what the Democrats tried to do in America. And whether you like Trump or not, you better thank whatever God you believe in that Trump was elected. Because that's where we were. That is what God only knows what would be happening right now if that degenerate lowlife camel toe or Kamala, whatever, had been elected. That their ministry of truth and information would have blown up bigger. I mean, I can't even imagine. And so that's the news for today. Look at I'm going to put a couple of links. Oh, I almost forgot. So that's what's happening in Germany. Fake news CBS. Some stupid fake news bitch named Margaret Brennan had the nerve to actually agree with Germany. She said that free speech in Germany is the reason that Adolf Hitler came to power. Can you imagine? This is what fake, Trump, please, I beg you. Trump is right when he said fake news is the enemy of America. When you have someone sitting on a so-called news network, sitting there as a so-called news journalist, people are watching the news, and they're telling you that free speech caused Hitler to come to power. And the irony, the utter irony of the fact that CBS and CNN and the rest, they're the ones who take advantage of free speech to spread their fake news and their propaganda and their lies. Their lies about an insurrection that never happened. Their lies about the fact that about saying the 2020 election was not rigged, which is their lie. Their lies about the Hunter laptop. Their lies about Russia collusion. I don't know, did Trump ever get an apology for the lie about Russia collusion? Because there never was any Russia collusion. Did he ever get an apology for that? No, I don't think he did. Right? The lies about him, about all the stuff they claimed he did. All lies, all meant to interfere with the election. That's what CBS and the rest of them, ABC, NBC, CNN, that's what they all gauge it. And this Margaret Brennan bitch has the nerve to say that free speech caused Nazi Germany. Whew, well, I mean, the nerve. I mean, I'm telling you, people, better wake up. Better wake up. Better see the light. Better realize now why Tulsi Gabbard supported Trump. Tulsi Gabbard does not agree with Trump on like 98% of the issues. She's not a Republican, not by a long shot. She believes she's pro-choice and pro-gay marriage and all that kind of stuff. And that's okay because she saw the bigger picture, the bigger danger. Right? I mean, gay marriage, pro-choice. Okay, those issues are all, like right here. But this issue, losing your right to free speech, losing your actual liberty, losing your freedom. That's what the Democrats were doing. And she said, and Tulsi Gabbard said, well, I have to let go of these lesser issues and focus on this bigger picture and literally try to save America from fascism. And we need to get Trump in power and get rid of the Democrats, because you may disagree with Republicans on certain issues, but by God, the Democrats are doing to America what Adolf Hitler did to Germany, and they just totally wiping out the Constitution. And the irony is that she actually has it ass backwards. She is on the Hitlerian fascist side, and so it's just astounding. I mean, I could sit here and make a bullet points. I could make a list a mile long of bullet points of how Democrats are exactly like Nazis. The squashing of free speech, taking away guns. That's what authoritarians do, right? Taking away, forcing you to have medical procedures against your will. How about junk science? The Nazis put forth junk science of Aryan superiority, and the Democrats put forth junk science of transgenderism and pronouns and all that. And if you don't go along with it, you can get fired from your job. How about the murder of millions of innocent people? The Nazis murdered 6 million Jews and millions of other people. The Democrats murder hundreds of millions of babies in the womb. Need I go on? I mean, I can go on and on. Wars, endless war. I mean, just slavery. Who fought to keep slavery legal? The Democrats. I mean, it goes way back. Worse than Hitler. So don't give me that shit. I mean, so it's time to wake up, people. If this shit going on in Germany, and you connecting these dots and seeing that Germany is doing where Biden was taking us, where we were on their way to getting where they are now. If you can't connect those dots, then you're just a lost cause, dude. You're an idiot. That's all I can say, man. If you have any sense of decency and liberty and the idea of the importance of free speech, free speech, it's not just speech you like. Free speech is free speech you don't like. Okay? Uh, um, let's see. What I wish I could give you before I close. I should have come up with one just solid example to give you. But just think of a time, and I'm sure you can come up with one. Think of a time when the government lied about something, and they just and whenever other people tried to tell the truth, those people were shot down. And then it come to find out years later that the government did lie, right? Just think about that. And then think about what happens in Germany today. And the fact that if the government is lying about something and someone speaks the truth, again, speaks truth to power, they can point at those people and say that they are the liars and convict them of a crime. Why? Because they were simply exercising their free speech. That is the danger at hand, folks. That is what has now come to pass in Germany and England too. And that is exactly where Biden and the Democrats were taking us. They were like 60, 70% of the way there till Trump got in and Elon Musk, who saved us from that. So man, put it together. I mean, come on. Anyway, this video is going long. I'm gonna put some links in the video. Please check them out. They have to do with what I'm talking about. Please subscribe to our Substack page. It is free. Please share this video, please. It's not, I don't make money off videos, so I just try to get the word out there. So please share the video, and I will see you in the next great American video. Adios, muchachos.